Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to VALORANT News and some major updates with regard to the North American main event. It seems that Sinatraa has indeed finished the training that he had to do mandated by Riot Games to the point where he can now officially compete once again. With the rumours a few months ago that Sentinels might want him back, is it possible at some point or another that he returns into the starting team? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing now. And I don't know what Derek's playing out right here, but seemed to work out rather well for him. Now, I just wanted to mention this real quick. Of course, we've talked a fair bit about agents right now, and of course, well, Chamber being pretty much the most prevalent in the entire game. As Bank says, you know, Chamber, much skill. Of course, using Chamber to good effectiveness right here. Of course, the teleportation has kind of been the big thing as of late. There's been a big discussion point is that you can pretty much teleport every 20 seconds to a, well, pretty much an unknown location on the map, and the jet dash that was being, well, kind of complained about for a long time, and understandably so. Now, if anything, is actually even weaker than exactly what Chamber's bringing to the party at the present time, and pretty much everyone's using him all the time. Now, these are the stats. I looked at this, I think, last week. I looked at it the week before, just to look at the average agent pick rates per map. And there has been some theories from Boaster on Fnatic and Turko as well, potentially that, well, Chamber might get nerfed significantly at some point or another. So these are the pick rates, right? And Chamber, I think, last week was like 89-90%. So he's gone down to 85% pick rate here. But you can see on Fracture, he's always picked. It's only really Bind and Breeze where he's not always picked. Every other map he's pretty much used every single game. The crazy thing to me is really, this is just the North American main event, but every other agent in the game is less than 50% pick rate. You've got actually Breach is kind of second place here, then Raze, because Jet's kind of gone down the pecking order a little bit lately, Viper, Sova, of course Sage, Brimstone even above Jet right now, which is kind of crazy, and Omen and Sky in a similar ballpark, and Fade already at 21% here, and Neon a little bit further down. Cypher least used agent at the present time, it seems, apart from, of course, Phoenix, who doesn't get picked at all, and Euro, I suppose, also not making the list right here, so his changes didn't really seem to affect his play. But like, just the fact that Chambers used 85% of the time, and no other agent is even at 50%, probably indicates that right now, I mean, Chamber is definitely the meta, well, the meta agent to use. And whether any changes will come on that front, I suppose remain to be seen. But pretty much everyone has to learn how to use Chamber if they want to be a successful team at the moment. And as you can see here, there's a fair few players on Chamber, the likes of Turko, but still, as the Fnatic guys at the top of this list, top 10 rated players so far. The Guild guys not too far behind. This is, of course, the EMEA top 10 rated players from the first 3 weeks of action. But so, yeah, definitely got to talk about the North American side as well. Thought this is rather interesting from Weltis, actually, the fact that out of 18 matches so far here, only 3 of them have gone all the way to map 3. Most of the games so far have just been a 2-0. So it seems that whoever wins map 1 here in stage 2 is probably going to win the series, because, well, back in stage 1, it was about 45% of matches went to a third map. Not the case this time around. But yeah, just wanted to mention this, because on VLR, they now officially, well, record the map kind of win-loss here, which is, I believe, the first tiebreaker. We've been talking a lot about round differential, and for some reason the map win-loss wasn't actually ever here. But this is, I think, the first tiebreaker apart from head-to-head, so the head-to-head will come through first. If you've got, let's say, a two-way tie between 2 teams that have, 2 and 3 or something, as might well happen here in Group B, then the team that won out of those 2 teams will be the team that will kind of progresses. Then if there's like a 3-way tie, it probably goes to like a map count situation, then to potentially round count if it is required. But yeah, certainly this Group B is keenly of note, because yesterday we saw that because FaZe Clan took down Cloud9, that makes Group B much more interesting, because it means that Sentinels have still a decent shot of actually making it through to the playoffs. If they do make it to playoffs, they'll probably be in 4th or maximum really 3rd seed, and 4th seed isn't really where you want to be because you start in the losers brackets. But still, it's possible that Sentinels make it all the way through. They're going to have to do a lot better than they have done recently, though, and if they don't make it through, then of course they still should be at the last chance qualifier. But could they possibly be going to the last chance qualifier for the World Championship qualification with a different roster? So as we move into the Sinatraa stuff, just wanted to say these are the implications, as Will Miner puts together, I thought was really good, on how these teams can qualify. So I didn't really look at OpTic, EG, or LG, because they're certainly in the driver's seat right now. They don't really have to work too hard to qualify. They just got to win one series effectively. But yeah, Cloud9 at 1 and 2, if they win both games they're in, if they beat LG and lose to Sentinels, then they can still qualify if FaZe wins both games and OpTic wins one game, which is probably going to happen. And these are some of the other situations. But if you're Cloud9, you can't afford to lose both games. And of course, it's the same story for FaZe right here. You can't afford to lose both games either. But if FaZe beat Sentinels and if they lose to EG, then they can still qualify if LG win at least once and Cloud9 lose at least once. So thought this is really cool. If you guys want to check this out, of course, the links will be down below. But the Sentinels situation is rather simple, and it is as follows. They're currently 0 in 3, therefore they've got to win their next 2 games. But if they win their next 2 games, they do qualify if LG and EG both win 1 game. Because if both of these teams lose both of their games, you're going to get some serious 2-3 tiebreaker situations, which might not work out in Sentinels' favour. But if LG and EG both win one of their games, then then they're in a situation where Sentinels will be tied 2 and 3 with one of probably Cloud9 or FaZe, and that's definitely a plausible situation, and in which case they will win at the head-to-head tiebreaker. and Sentinels go through. So it's possible it can happen. It's, well, far from likely, though, and far from guarantees, especially if TenZ is not going to be well in time. Who knows what's going to happen on that front? But of course, a big discussion point really has been the last couple of months. Sinatraa said back in April, like, look, he's cleared, he's ready to go. I think he officially got cleared from his kind of suspension last year sometime, and he revealed back in April that he's kind of ready to go again. He wants to compete again, he wants to get back into competition, and he said at the time in April, and it's kind of an unfortunate time for him to say this in a way, just because, like, at the time, teams had basically already made their moves for what they were going to do for the second stage. So a lot of options that he might have had have kind of disappeared, and of course, Sentinels, it seems, as an organization, have kind of stood by him, right? And the kind of theory was that maybe if there's any team that Sinatraa is most likely to return to, it might have been Sentinels. But just a few days ago, when of course TenZ was stepping away from the team, as so was sick for kind of family emergency reasons, that and of course hopefully everything works out for him on that front. But still, they asked zyppan to step in and replace them. He decided, he basically said, no, I'm not doing it. Raucus came in and said, this guy called Danny came in. But Sinatraa, or also maybe, I'm not sure what Sinatraa said, but zyppan said, or Kanpeki said, that they didn't actually ask Sinatraa at all. And I thought at the time I came, maybe that's just because the kind of training that he was meant to go through is still ongoing. Maybe it's not done yet. Maybe he's not quite officially cleared to compete. And if he was, maybe they would have asked Sinatraa. But seemingly, he was cleared to compete, as we'll see here in a second. Like, and even this was happening back in April, right, when zyppan was initially rumored to be gone from the team, that they were practicing without him, that apparently Sinatraa was a candidate to replace him at the time. Now, of course, this was around a similar time where Sinatraa said, like, I'm good to play again, and he revealed this information that Riot had told him that he was ready to go. Now, of course, by revealing this, Riot effectively got exposed that they hadn't forced Sinatraa to go through with their kind of cooperating with investigations training that they tried to make him do, effectively conduct training, which eventually he has gone on to do. So they then said right here a couple of days later, yes, they're going to force kind of Sinatraa to go through with this conduct training, which seemingly, I was kind of wondering, hey, has he done this? How long is it going to take for him to do this? And seemingly, according to this clip that Cobalt points out to me last night, that yeah, as he says in this clip, he has officially done the conduct training, it's done, he's done that stuff, he's ready to go again, and well, this should officially mean really that he's officially cleared to compete on all fronts in these events, in the VCT, but as yet, no one wants to give him a go.
You pass me that? No.
When will this conduct training end? I already finished it.
It's only a very brief clip, but I think it gets the point across, and that is what's interesting to me about this situation, right, is just a few days ago, we saw that Sentinels had the perfect opportunity if they wanted to say, look, Sinatraa, come into the team, like, but they potentially could have done that, right, and I thought at the time it was because of this conduct training that he hadn't necessarily yet completed as to why he was not being asked to compete. But as it turns out, like, well, he reckons himself that he has done it, like, however long it took him or whatever, it doesn't seem to have been something which is incredibly strenuous or stressful on his side, but, you know, still after now a month and a bit ago, really a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago, saying that, like, he wants to come back, he wants to return. Now, he's seemingly done everything from his side to be able to. Whether he should or should not, that's, of course, another question that everyone is going to have on the situation. But with Sentinels sticking by him from the content creator side, you know, it would kind of make sense at some point that he might return to the starting team for competition, because he certainly wants to. He's made the point the last few weeks that he still believes he can be one of the best players, if not the best player in North America at least, and make the team like kind of what it was back in the day when Sinatraa was a part of the squad. So that's kind of the question to me. If they don't qualify for the playoffs, if they're going to go to the last chance qualifier with their one final shot to qualify for Masters, then, you know, do they say, look, Sinatraa, we almost were considering you a couple of months ago now when we wanted to get rid of zyppan initially, but we couldn't do it because you hadn't done the proper training or whatever. Now that is the case, it's a possibility, right? No team is going to make changes unless you're FaZe Clan in the middle of these stages, or I suppose if you're Cloud9, of course, but it's not something you can entirely rule out at the present time. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Just as we close out the video here, wanted to mention a few interesting stats to Will Minder. This is at stage 2 group stages so far. Top 10 players in first blood success rate as of week 3. Dicey is number 1 at 26 out of 38 first blood engagements. He's won them. I mean, look how many of these are on the chamber, right? The top 5 all on the chamber. Outside of that, you've got Sire player here on the Jets. The chamber meta is certainly here in full force right now. And then you've got Nismo and Zekan, who generally are using the Raze. And then Tex and Koala Noob as well on the Go side. They're also on the chamber, right? So generally we do in fact see, and I mean, these numbers are pretty incredible, right? If you're winning 2 out of 3 of your first blood engagement, which is exactly where B-Dog is, and Ye's on a pretty similar number, that's well, so that's certainly going to help you out, right? Put yourself in that position, you're going to get the first kill way more often than not. And you actually get some very similar names on this list as well. So this is multi-kill percentage. I suppose the percentage of rounds where a player will get more than 1 kill in the rounds. And at anything, I mean, you know, 25% and above, which is where a lot of these guys are at the top here, is very impressive indeed. And Nismo is actually topping the charts right now. 40 out of 139. Of course, not far different to Ye at 40 out of 140. But this definitely is a good indication of the players with the most impact on the the game. Nismo, Ye, B-Dog, Jorgamo, Will, and TenZ actually are kind of the top 6 right here, and I think that's probably about right in terms of, well, relation to the players with the most impact in the game right now. Certainly an interesting stat to look at. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below, though. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button, tell us your YouTube gods, this is a good video, and as like you should see it as well, and I've grown the competitive Valorant community. Thank you once again as always, take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.
Wait, go.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my.